So I'm sitting here, and uh, so this week we're back to 5,000 calories diet, and I feel terrible. I feel terrible right now. I feel sluggish. I feel too full. I can't focus on work. I can't read. I can't do any thing here in the garden. I mean, I've got to force myself to do so now, but I feel terrible. I feel terrible, and I figured it out. I figured out why, because it's been happening since I started the diet, and at the beginning not so much. I guess because my stomach was really strong at the time, but right now, the past week, no, and I know the reason. Past week I didn't feel so bad, and I know the reason why that is. I felt a little bit less terrible, and the reason is the fucking fat in my breakfast. It's the amount of fat that I have in my breakfast because I tried different combinations, because I have a very big smoothie for breakfast, 2,000 calories or so, and I tried it with coffee, both things, smoothie and coffee, felt terrible. Coffee then smoothie felt terrible. Smoothie then coffee felt terrible too, but even worse. And then I tried only coffee, slowly, and I felt really good, really focused, very fine, perfect. And then I tried coffee very fast, didn't feel as good as slowly. And then I tried no coffee, only smoothie, and I felt fucking terrible. I tried both options of a smoothie, fast and slow, and I felt terrible. And I was like, what the hell is happening? So something's happening. So I went to ChatGPT and I told ChatGPT, hey, look, I just had my breakfast and I shouldn't feel like this. I feel sluggish, I feel full, heavy. I can't focus. My stomach hurts, and I don't feel really good. And I said, okay, so my smoothie has this. So I have two bananas, one apple, 150 grams of mixed fruits, 100 grams of almonds, 100 grams of sunflower seeds, and milk. And so I told that to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT basically said, no wonder you feel terrible, because you're putting into your body almost 100 grams of fat all of a sudden. And fat takes a lot of time to digest, and it's very difficult to digest. And so that's why your body feels like that. That's why you feel terrible, because you are putting into your body so much fat that you don't that your body can't possibly hope to digest, and that's why you feel heavy, because it's going to take time. And so I said, okay, I'm going to check it. So now a few hours later, the smoothie just emptied out of my body, and now I had the second round, and I feel terrible again. Terrible. The stomach feels heavy again. The same thing. Exactly the same thing. And I was like, maybe I'm dying. Maybe my body. No, this isn't supposed to feel like that. And I felt terrible. And I was like, okay, this is the reason why this is happening. This is why it's happening. So I have to make the changes. I'm doing some research again, because if I was wrong, I mean, fat I've never tracked, but if I was wrong about fat and the way I was organized in that, maybe I'm wrong about carbs, and maybe I'm wrong about protein, and maybe I have to do some research on it. So that's what I'm doing right now. What I was trying to do right now, but I can't focus, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna maybe do some garden work, and maybe it will wear off. But I have to change that, and also realize that I can't have my food all of. I mean, I have to, instead of so big of meals, I have to separate them into smaller ones, and that's how I don't get the dip in energy. Also, ChatGPT also said that having so much fruit all of a sudden caused blood sugar levels to go up and then go down, and so that's a dip in energy. And if I waited a few hours and then drank the smoothie, fruit would oxidate, and then because of that it would take longer to digest, and that's why I feel so bad. That is why I felt so bad, and I was like, no, I have to force myself to do this because that's what men would do. But I don't have to force myself to do this. I mean, I'm gonna change things. I'm gonna make them have sense. You know, I'm going to keep doing the 5,000 calorie diet, and I'm gonna keep. But I have to organize it in a way, because maybe I'm eating something right before working out that is not making me feel good working out. For example, instead of giving me energy, it's taking energy away, and I don't want that. I can't have that. You know, so I'm gonna have to change things. I'm gonna do some research. I already did protein basically, you know, divided across the day, just all throughout the whole day. I mean, that's what needed. Protein is needed for muscle synthesis. So if you spread it out during the day, then your body is going to have protein to synthesize muscle throughout the whole day. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. And so yeah, that's basically the whole thing I wanted to talk about right now. I'm reading deep work right now. I think I'm gonna read instead of doing work right now. I'm gonna just read for a while until my stomach feels a bit better, and yeah, that is basically everything I wanted to talk about right now. I'll change things up. Probably what I'll do is I'll reduce the amount of I'll reduce to about 25% the amount of of nuts in the morning smoothie. I'll also reduce the fruit, so you know, just basically reduce the volume of the smoothie. And if I feel better like that, then in a few hours, since it's not so big of a smoothie, then I should be able to eat another thing. I mean, it's 16 hours across the day, so I should be able to eat a few times across the day with a balanced, you know, that doesn't make my energy go up and down and then dip and then go up again, and you know, that doesn't make me feel terrible across the day. And yeah, that, and it's basically the whole message of slow success builds character and fast success builds ego. You know, what I was building was ego because I was so good with my 2,000 calorie smoothie. But you know, I don't need ego. I need patience, and I need consistency, and um, I need to keep this streak going. You know, the straight days that I've been doing what I'm supposed to do, and I think I have it right here, and it's day 24. Day 24, and I'm not gonna finish the smoothie because I'm gonna feel terrible. It doesn't make fucking sense. I'm just gonna have a since I had about 75% of the smoothie, and so that is already not 5,000 calorie bulk, but it's already a pretty high bulk. I mean, it must be around 4,500, you know, 4,500. So that's basically it. What I'm gonna do now is gonna read. Maybe, yeah, I'm gonna read until I feel a bit better. Then I have to do a few things in the garden, and yeah, that's it. Later, I have the deload is over, and now we're going back to intensity, and we have leg day today. We have squats, we have hip thrust, and we have calf raises, and basically it. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna add it to the video, the squats, and you'll see today we're going for 100 kilograms. It's gonna be cool. Oh shit, that's a fucking hell. Yeah. So that's basically it. There was a bee, wasp. No, it was a wasp. No, it was a bee. I think it was a bee, but it's not nice either. Not a fucking way. Yeah. So I'm gonna record the squats. I'm gonna add them here. Decided to change the structure of the videos to record well, every day of the week and publish, or whatever you say, post twice a week. So Wednesdays and Saturdays, I think, in order to have a consistent thing. Yeah, that's basically it. See you, yeah, doing squats. Field edition. So here we are again. We're here in the field. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. It's beautiful. So we're here in the field, and today was a more or less good day. Yeah, today is Tuesday, and it was a good day. The diet was a bit messy because, as I mentioned yesterday, for you a few minutes ago, the fat was way too much and I felt like shit, so I spent the whole day, basically, I spent like 4 hours researching carbs, researching protein, researching fats, researching insulin, researching the diet, researching when to eat every single thing, when not to eat every single thing. I'm not gonna talk about that right now because I don't. My dog is. Come on, let's go. And I'm not going to talk about that. That's not the point. I didn't want to talk about that today. But the point is, I did all of that. I focused pretty well, actually, and it's important to do all of those things very well. You know, track when to eat every single thing, and because of that, I got not an idea, just a realization. You know, I was working and I was like, well, I don't want to do this now. I don't want to eat this now because I don't feel like it. I'll eat it later. You know, I'll eat it with that other thing. But then it just came to my mind as I was researching when to eat carbs, when to eat protein, when to eat fat, and protein, for example, you have to spread it through the whole day. Because the protein is basically what your body uses to build muscle. So if you give it fuel, if you give it protein, it's going to be working the whole day. So I thought about it and I was like, well, in a few hours it doesn't fucking matter, because your body would have been for hours without protein and would have done basically nothing, would have built basically nothing. And that's just 3, 4 hours, 5 hours that you lost because you didn't want to eat. And that's the precise idea. And then I got the big realization that consistency and discipline and all of that isn't doing, you know, it is doing the thing. It is doing the thing that you might not want to do. You know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna read. Today I read 20 pages of my book, and of deep work. By the way, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really learning a lot of things. But another thing, you know, I'm working out right now, but it doesn't fucking count if you don't do it when you're supposed to do it. I didn't want to clean the kitchen. I just finished having dinner, and I didn't want to clean the kitchen because I said, well, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. But it doesn't count later. It counts now because it's when you don't want to do it. So I'm like, so it doesn't. It matters now. I mean, all that matters is right now. Right now is the only thing that matters. It doesn't count in a few hours because you didn't want to do it, and you'll do it when you feel like it. So it doesn't really count that much because what's the point? So delaying things, and even if you do them later, yeah, so what? You're not gonna feel proud of it because you'll think, well, I could have done it 4 hours ago. So today's video, as you can see, I am a bit under the weather. It's allergies. It's spring, and it stopped raining here, and so I feel just a bit sick. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna take I'm gonna use this as a chance to go early to sleep. Because I haven't done so in the last few weeks, and the gym doesn't really make sense if I don't sleep. So it's 7:30 right now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna record this, and I'm gonna have dinner. And while I'm having dinner, I'm gonna edit the video, post it, and yeah. But I wanted to talk about something different today. You know, as I said. The gym doesn't really make sense without the sleep, and the last couple of weeks I've been finding that I get home too late. You know, I get home very late, not very late, but late. You know, so I don't go. I wake up at 5 a.m. So if I want to get some 8 hours, something like that, 8 hours, which is the recommended, you know, the basic amount, and I have to be in bed. At least by 10 to 9, and I'm not. I'm usually in bed by 10 to 10, so that's not good at all. So I realized, look, you're giving all this time to the gym, you're giving all this time to the to working out, you're giving all this time to the diet. So it doesn't really make sense if you decide not to, take it serious in all of the different realms that includes, so it doesn't make sense to do so. So that's basically the choice that I've made. And thanks to that, today I decided to go and work out earlier. So instead of the usual 5 p.m., something like that, I went at 3:30, 4 p.m., something like that. And I saw a friend there, a guy that I've talked to him a few times, and he's a very nice guy. He's super strong. I mean, I'm talking calisthenics strong, and he usually lifts, like today, I think he did 3 sets of 8 in pull-ups with 37.5 kilograms. And that's a fucking lot. That's a lot. I mean, 37.5 kilograms, that's a lot. I don't know how many pounds that is, but kilograms, it is a lot. So, and I was talking to him because we met. As I was going into the gym, I remember that I had a banana in my bag, so I decided to go outside, eat it, get some carbs, and have some energy to hit the gym. And he was just arriving, and he was like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey," I hadn't seen him in a week or so, and I was like, "Hey, how are you, dude?" And the last time we talked, he told me that he was doing his doctorate, that he had done a master, that he had done, he was a mathematician, basically. But I'm not, remember, 37.5, 3 sets by 8, 37.5 kilograms in pull-ups. So it's not the common mathematician, it's not no, we're talking about old school mathematician, we're talking 2,000 years ago, guys who were jacked, okay? He's jacked. I was like, dude, so how's it going? How's work going? How's everything going? How's life going? And he was talking, and he said, well, I'm pretty bored right now. And I was like, aren't you getting your doctorate? Shouldn't you be overwhelmed with work right now? I mean, shouldn't you be working your ass off? And he was like, no, not at all. I just work 3 hours a day, and that's pretty much it. And for the next 4 days, I'm not gonna have to do anything. I'm like, what? Why is that? He said, well, I already did everything that I was supposed to do. What do you mean? Well, I did everything. And this is happening just as I'm reading Deep Work. In Deep Work, they're talking about all of this stuff. They're saying, deep work, a few hours of deep work can get you lots of things out of the way. And I'm like, so it's just kind of, everything is kind of connecting in my head. I'm like, maybe I should really take seriously the deep work thing, because if I can get into that flow state, and it was like that, and my friend was like, that's just it. That's exactly what it is. It's the flow state. I just get into it, 3 hours, bam, everything done. I don't have to work anymore. I'm like, so you don't have to work? No. And I told him, I've done it before. I work hard, but I know I don't work as hard as other people. Other people work a lot and they get very little done. I work medium amount and I get pretty good results. Something like that. But this guy works very, very few hours and gets very, very, very good results, and that's called leverage. And leverage gets you everywhere in this world. So I'm like, how do you do it? How do you do it? He's like, well, I rest. What do you mean you rest? He said, well, I rest, I go for a walk, I disconnect completely from everything. I don't ever think about studying or working outside of when I'm studying or working. I'm completely disconnected. And he's like, I was like, oh, so that's it? She just works. Yeah, dude, just get into the habit of work. Some people like to do some stuff, special stuff to get into it, but you can just get a coffee, start working. So I'm looking at him. So that's all you do. Yeah, that's basically it. So, and when you rest, I just disconnect. And he says, I just disconnect. I just completely disconnect. Forget about it. I'm not gonna think about work. I'm not gonna think about anything else but what I'm doing right now, which is rest.
rest. And I told him, well, it makes sense. I mean, the gym works the same way. You know, when you're not in the gym, you're resting, and you shouldn't be focusing on thinking of, oh, I'm going to lift heavy weights right now. No, you should be thinking, I'm going to rest. I'm going to get some sleep. I'm going to eat a lot. And that's basically it. So I went, and then we went into the gym. You know, we worked out. I was working out. As I was working out, and he went for his first heavy set, and he did the 8 reps for 37.5 kilograms. I was like, dude, that's awesome. And he told me, well, I'm gonna rest a bit now. And I told him, how long are you gonna rest? I mean, you just pulled something like this off. Like, how much are you gonna rest? And he told me 8 minutes. And I was like, what you gonna do for 8 minutes? He said, I'm gonna go outside, go for a walk. Disconnect. Yeah, you know. So what I'm realizing is that work is just the same as the gym, basically. You know, there's downtime and there's uptime, I guess. And during the uptime, you gotta give 100%, which is the 37.5 kilograms. And then during the downtime, you gotta give your 100% too. In the downtime, I mean, you have to give your 100% in rest. So when you're resting, you shouldn't be thinking of the work you have to do. You shouldn't be thinking of, I have to do this, I have to do that or anything. No, you shouldn't. That shouldn't even cross your mind. What you should be doing is going outside, going for a walk, I don't know, talking to a friend, whatever it is that makes you disconnect, listen to some music, something. But when you go into the room and you start working, you should go 100% at it. 100%. Bam. No question. Just 100%. Go. Bam. All of it. And that's it. That's it. And he was, and I was amazed. And I was amazed because if you can get this much done, if you can get so much done in 3 hours, how much can you get done if you develop that ability to focus? I mean, this guy doesn't develop it. I'm like, why wouldn't you I thought to myself, I didn't say anything, but I thought, why wouldn't you go hard? I mean, yes, you can rest. Yes, but you can work more. Your mind can take more probably. If you slowly progress, your mind can probably take more. So why don't you, that's what my thought was immediately. And I was like, if I can pull this off, if I can get a few hours of deep work every single day, get lots of things done, I'm going to have a lot of free time for other things, and that's going to make me advance in my goals faster than anyone else. And that's super important. That's super, super, super important. And that's what I was basically thinking, if I can get to 3 hours of work right now, of deep work, then in the future, if I work at it, then I can get to, I don't know how much, 9, 10, 12, 14 hours of deep work. That could be possible. I mean, yes, with coffee, of course. Why wouldn't I use a tool that's godly, heavenly? But yeah, I could get to that. And if I get to that, that would be fucking awesome. That would be fucking awesome right there. So I'm not gonna take this any longer. I've been thinking, I have to figure out a phrase, sentence, something to say at the end of these videos. And I was thinking, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna see how it goes. So, here it comes. Stop watching others live their lives and start living yours, which basically means focus on yourself. Start looking at the things that you can do to improve and stop watching so much others. So stop getting distracted, watching movies, doing this, doing that. No, just focus on yourself for a bit and work hard and give you 100%, and you can pull amazing things off. You can do amazing things. Okay, that's basically it. Bye-bye. Gonna edit this now, gonna post it now. Have a nice evening, day, morning, whatever it is. Bye-bye.